Disclaimer: this video is for informational purposes only and does not replace professional medical advice. Always consult your doctor for any doubts or health concerns. Hello, and welcome back to Health Pills. Today, we are embarking on a deep journey into the microscopic world of your own biology to uncover a silent epidemic. We are going to explore the hidden language of your body. We have all experienced days, or perhaps months, where something feels off. Maybe it is a creeping sensation in your legs when you try to sleep, a sudden wave of anxiety, or a heavy fatigue that coffee cannot touch. You might brush these off as aging or stress. But these are not just random symptoms. They are urgent whispers from your cells, crying out for a specific molecule that most of us completely misunderstand. We call it vitamin D, but scientifically speaking, that name is a biological error that has confused the public for decades. You see, vitamin D is not really a vitamin. A vitamin is a simple cofactor needed in trace amounts. But vitamin D acts like a steroid hormone. It is a master architect, structurally similar to testosterone and cortisol, synthesized from cholesterol in your skin when exposed to UVB radiation. Because it is a steroid hormone, it has receptors on the nucleus of almost every cell in your body. From brain neurons to immune cells, vitamin D holds the key to unlock your DNA. It gives instructions on how to repair and survive. This is why a deficiency causes a systemic breakdown. Historically, medicine only looked at bone health. We thought if a child didn't have rickets or an adult didn't have osteoporosis, they were fine. But modern science reveals the rabbit hole goes much deeper. You can have perfect bones and still suffer from a deficiency wrecking your metabolic health. When you lack this hormone, your body behaves strangely. The mechanisms controlling mood, pain thresholds, energy production, and hair growth begin to falter. Your body enters a state of physiological panic, trying to compensate for the missing signal. Today, we cover the 10 weirdest signs of a vitamin D deficiency. We aren't just listing symptoms, we will explain the deep biological mechanisms behind them. We will look at the how and why so you understand what is happening beneath your skin. By the end, you will understand how far-reaching this hormone is and how to interpret the distress signals your body is sending. Let's dive right in. Sign 1: bone, tooth, and back pain. Sign number 1 is deep, aching pain in bones, teeth, or the lower back. To understand this, look at how the body prioritizes survival. It needs calcium in the blood and calcium in the bone. But one is far more important for immediate survival. Calcium is an electrical signaling molecule. Your heart needs it to beat, your nerves need it to fire. If blood calcium drops too low, your nervous system shuts down and you die. So, the body has a ruthless fail-safe mechanism. Enter the parathyroid glands. These 4 tiny glands in your neck act as the calcium thermostat. When they sense calcium levels dropping, because low vitamin D prevents absorption, they panic and release a hormone called parathormone. Parathormone acts like a desperate bank robber. Its job is to keep blood calcium stable at any cost. It travels to your bones, your calcium savings account, and activates cells that dissolve bone tissue to release calcium back into the blood. It sacrifices structure for survival. As this continues, your bones become less dense and the sensitive covering of the bone becomes tender. You feel this as a dull, throbbing ache deep inside your legs or hips. It isn't muscle pain, it is the physical sensation of your skeleton being chemically deconstructed. Furthermore, vitamin D is the foreman for osteoblasts, the cells responsible for building new bone. Without vitamin D, these cells go on strike. So you have a double disaster: increased destruction by parathormone and stopped construction by osteoblasts. This extends to your mouth. Teeth are skeletal structures. Vitamin D is required to move calcium into dental tissue to harden enamel and dentin. Without it, the jawbone weakens and teeth lose density. You may experience sudden sensitivity or unexplained gum disease. If you have chronic back pain, physical therapy isn't fixing, or aching teeth, your body might be dissolving its own foundation to feed the blood, all because the vitamin D key is missing. Sign 2, proximal muscle weakness. Sign number 2 is proximal muscle weakness. We aren't talking about general fatigue, we mean a mechanical inability to generate force. Proximal means muscles close to the center of the body. These are the large, power-generating anti-gravity muscles, your quadriceps, glutes, hips, and shoulders. They are responsible for lifting your body weight against gravity and stabilizing your trunk. Here is the mechanism: for a muscle to contract, your brain sends a signal down the nerve. But for that signal to create a physical squeeze, calcium ions must rush into the muscle fiber. This calcium influx is the trigger for the contraction. Vitamin D plays a critical role in transporting calcium into muscle cells. It ensures cells are loaded with the potential they need to fire. It also helps the nerve signal transmit cleanly into the tissue. When vitamin D is low, you lack that robust calcium influx. The result is a muscle that feels heavy and unresponsive. You send the signal to stand up, but the engine doesn't have the spark to generate the force. It feels like moving through mud. You might notice this when struggling to stand up from a low chair without using your hands, or when climbing stairs leaves your legs burning like lead weights. It is a difficulty with load-bearing movements. This creates a dangerous cycle. Weak bones combined with weak muscles dramatically increase the risk of falls. If your legs feel heavy and unstable, check your vitamin D immediately, it might be a fuel problem. Sign 3, depressed mood and anxiety. Sign number 3 is a change in mental state, depressed mood or sudden anxiety. The brain is an organ, and vitamin D acts as a powerful neurosteroid affecting its chemistry. Vitamin D activates genes that release dopamine and serotonin. These are critical neurotransmitters for your quality of life. They define your reality, motivation, and emotional resilience. Without them, the world feels different. Dopamine is your motivation molecule, allowing drive and anticipation of reward. Serotonin is your satisfaction molecule, stabilizing mood and regulating sleep. It makes you feel okay with the world. Brain mapping shows vitamin D receptors are densely packed in the prefrontal cortex, where you do conscious thinking, and in the hippocampus, the emotional center responsible for memory and regulation. When vitamin D plummets, neurotransmitter production downregulates. You lose the biological capacity to feel motivated. You aren't just sad, you are chemically deprived of the ability to feel drive. Your brain cannot manufacture the signal for joy. This manifests as irritability, a short temper, or a flat emotional effect. It creates a gray filter over your life. You might feel anxious for no reason because the serotonin blanket calming your brain is gone. This is the mechanism behind seasonal affective disorder, SAD, in winter. Lack of sunlight drops vitamin D, crashing serotonin and dopamine. It is a form of hibernation our modern lives do not support. If you are struggling with mood without a psychological trigger, look at your physiology. Your brain might simply lack the raw materials to manufacture happiness. Sign 4, excessive head sweating. Sign number 4 is weird but classic, excessive sweating on the head or scalp. This is often described as a damp hairline or waking up with a wet pillow. Decades ago, doctors asked new mothers if their baby's head sweated while nursing. If yes, it was the clinical diagnosis for rickets and vitamin D deficiency. It was the gold standard. Why the head? It involves the autonomic nervous system, ANS, which regulates temperature and stress response. It is divided into the sympathetic, fight or flight, and parasympathetic, rest and digest, branches. Vitamin D is essential for absorbing calcium, a mineral sedative that calms nerves. When vitamin D is low, calcium regulation fails, and nerves become hyperexcitable. The balance is broken. This triggers a constant sympathetic dominance. Your body thinks it is under stress, cranking up the internal thermostat and causing you to sweat, even when resting or in a cool room. In adults, this is often blamed on hormones, but it can be vitamin D deficiency. If you have beads of perspiration on your forehead while sitting still, your nervous system's thermostat is broken. Sign 5, craving sunlight. Sign number 5 is a deep, magnetic craving for sunlight, or feeling instantly better when the sun hits your skin. This is a visceral physical relief, like quenching a thirst. This isn't just psychological. The relief is often too fast to be actual vitamin D production, which takes hours to synthesize in the liver and kidneys. This is a neurochemical reflex. Your brain has a predictive regulation system. When UVB radiation hits your skin, the brain senses it and signals, help is on the way. It is similar to a diabetic with low blood sugar feeling better the moment they taste juice, before the sugar hits the blood. The brain anticipates relief and releases feel-good chemicals in advance. If you seek out sun patches like a cat or feel your energy snap into focus outside, your body is likely starving for vitamin D. Your instincts are trying to save you. Do not ignore this. It is an ancient survival drive guiding you toward the one thing your physiology is desperate for, the sun. Sign 6, fatigue and low energy. Sign number 6 is chronic fatigue. We mean deep exhaustion where sleep doesn't recharge you. To understand this, we look inside the cell at the mitochondria. Mitochondria are the power plants of your cells. You have thousands in every cell. Their job is to burn food and oxygen to create energy. This energy is captured in a molecule called ATP. ATP is the currency of life. You run on ATP, not calories. Every thought and heartbeat costs ATP. Vitamin D is a key regulator of mitochondrial enzymes. It helps maintain the efficiency of this energy production line. Without vitamin D, the mitochondrial engine sputters. It is like driving a car with a clogged fuel injector. You step on the gas, but the power isn't there. Your cells produce less ATP for every breath you take. You are chemically inefficient. This affects everything. Muscles tire faster, the heart pumps less efficiently. Crucially, the brain, which consumes 20% of your energy, becomes sluggish. This leads to slow thinking and heavy physical fatigue. You aren't just tired, your cells are experiencing a brownout. The voltage is low. Correcting vitamin D levels is like flipping the breaker switch back on. It restores enzymatic efficiency, allowing your body to produce maximum ATP energy again. Sign 7, hair shedding, alopecia. Sign number 7 is hair shedding or alopecia areata. This isn't genetic male pattern baldness, it is patchy loss or significant shedding where clumps come out. Hair follicles go through cycles: growth, transition, and resting. Vitamin D regulates this cycle, specifically helping the follicle transition from resting back into growth. When vitamin D is low, the follicle gets stuck in the resting phase. It refuses to grow new hair. When old hair falls out, no new hair replaces it, leading to thinning. There is a darker side: autoimmunity. Vitamin D is an immune modulator. It teaches the immune system tolerance, what to attack and what to leave alone. Without adequate vitamin D, the immune system becomes dysregulated and hyperaggressive. In alopecia areata, it mistakenly attacks hair follicles as foreign invaders. If the follicle is still viable, restoring vitamin D can sometimes reverse this. It works on two fronts, restarting the growth cycle and calling off the immune attack. By calming the autoimmune response and stimulating growth receptors, you can wake up dormant follicles. Your hair is a barometer of your internal health. Sign 8, Restless Leg Syndrome. Sign number 8 is Restless Leg Syndrome, RLS. This is a miserable crawling or electric sensation in the legs creating an urge to move, usually at night. We must look to dopamine again. Dopamine controls smooth, coordinated muscle movement. Low dopamine in the brain is the root of Parkinson's, a movement disorder. Dopamine naturally drops at night to help you sleep. If you start with low dopamine due to vitamin D deficiency, levels drop into a critical zone at night. This causes misfiring in the nervous system signals controlling legs. Your brain loses the ability to suppress unwanted movement. The brakes are gone. Combine this with low calcium. Low vitamin D leads to low calcium absorption, causing irritated, hyperexcitable peripheral nerves sending static signals. You have a double whammy: lack of central dopamine regulation and irritated peripheral nerves. The result is that creepy crawly feeling that ruins sleep. If you are kicking sheets off every night, don't just take sleeping pills. Your nervous system might be starving for the stability vitamin D provides. Sign 9, Poor Concentration and Brain Fog. Sign number 9 is poor concentration and brain fog. We dismiss this as aging or being busy, but it is a sign of neural inefficiency. Vitamin D ensures calcium signals in the brain are sharp. Neurons communicate via calcium ions. When levels drop, signaling becomes erratic, creating neural noise. It's like listening to a radio with static. This static interferes with focus and memory retrieval. You feel cloudy because the electrical environment of your brain is disorganized. Another factor is BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of BDNF as miracle grow for brain cells. It supports neuron survival and synapse growth. Vitamin D drives BDNF production. This protein is responsible for neuroplasticity, the ability to learn, adapt, and repair neural pathways. With less vitamin D, you have less BDNF. Your brain becomes rigid and unable to adapt. You stop making new highways for information. If you cannot retain information or your mind feels slow, it might be a lack of this neurosteroid support. You are losing your neuroplastic edge. We fear cognitive decline, but are we fueling the repair mechanisms that prevent it? Vitamin D is central to that process. Sign 10, Chronic pain. Sign number 10 is chronic, unexplained pain. This isn't just bone pain, it is a global sensitivity where everything hurts more than it should. In the peripheral nervous system, vitamin D maintains accurate signaling. When low, pain receptors, nociceptors, become hypersensitive, lowering their firing threshold. This is nociception dysfunction. A mild stimulus, like a gentle touch, is amplified and sent to the brain as a strong pain signal. The problem worsens in the central nervous system. Vitamin D acts as a master volume knob in the spinal cord, turning down pain intensity. Without vitamin D, the knob gets stuck on high, known as central sensitization. The brain interprets normal signals as excruciating, literally learning to be in pain. Also, vitamin D suppresses inflammatory cytokines. When low, system-wide inflammation rises, irritating nerve endings further. It is the perfect storm for chronic pain. Conclusion. As we close, shift your perspective. Vitamin D is not just for bones, it is a fundamental steroid hormone dictating brain, muscle, and nerve function. If you suspect deficiency, supplement wisely, 2,000 to 5,000 IU, but always test your levels to avoid toxicity. If you found this video helpful, Please like, subscribe, and share it with someone struggling with these invisible symptoms. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our future tips on how to master your health. Stay proactive, stay informed, and as always, stay healthy. See you in the next video.